Hi everyone and welcome to Tessa, the Art of Life. In today's episode, we are going to be painting with a palette knife. And we are going to be painting some lilacs. Some of these. They smell so nice. And they are so pretty this time of year when they are just full blooms. So that's why I picked some from the garden and we are going to be painting some. So let's get to it, shall we? It looks like a little trumpet. This tastes so sweet. You can see we got some lilacs, and these little darlings are such a wonderful flower. It's not only just pretty to look at, it smells fantastic, and you can make a lot of things with it. Lilacs are also called Syringa vulgaris. They originate in Eastern Europe or most southeast part of Europe, but now it's very common in the whole of Europe. As you can see, this one is very purple, but they also come in white, light pink, darker pink, all the way to very dark purple and mauve. Very pretty to look at. The thing is, you have to really enjoy this because they only bloom for 2 weeks. Really take advantage of it, and it's in early spring. Depending on where you live, it's between May and June. In Sweden, there was a story about a shoemaker who put up a sign on his door that said closed between bird cherry and lilacs. They have quite a lot of theories about this. What did make him to put up a sign like this? Some say that it was the time for the apprentice to make their apprentice hiking, or I'm not sure what it's called, but the apprentices always made a kind of a journey around the county to access more knowledge and deepen their knowledge by visiting different masters. It's thought that this could be one of those things that made this shoemaker put up this sign closed between bird cherry and lilacs. There is a fun thing about this. Do you know that lilacs are edible? As I'm going to show you here. Some there, I hope. As you can see, it looks like a little trumpet, these lilac flowers, and as kids we used to do this. You suck on these and it tastes so sweet. I'm sorry, I hope you can hear me because it's really windy outside today and quite cold. As kids we used to eat a lot of these because they taste so sweet, and there are a lot of things that you can make from these lilacs. You can make lilac lemonade, or you can also make lilac sugar. I'm going to show you just how to make lilac sugar because it's very easy to do. In old folklore, it was a really great thing to have a lilac in your backyard because it was said to keep ghosts away and spirits as well. When you look at the name in different languages for just lilac trees, in Greek it's called paschalia, and that originates from the Jewish word pasha, which means passage, I'm told. That makes quite a lot of sense because this tree is also associated with reincarnation, which could be one of the reasons why people would say it would keep the spirits away, because it would be a passage to the other realm. The flower is also associated with flirtation, and love in particular. Of course, it smells good and it's been known to be an ingredient in many love potions. It's also used for many beauty remedies because of its astringent properties, and of course in perfumes because it's just had that amazing smell. Well, there you go, a little bit history and a lot of fun information. First, you find some lilacs, then you pick them. You need a bottle, some sugar. I'm using half a cup of white sugar and a cluster of lilac flowers to that. Preferably, it's best to dry the flowers first before mixing it with the sugar, but it's okay to do it with fresh flowers as well. You just need to make sure that you dry the sugar. You can dry it in an oven at a very low temperature, and then you store it for a week before using it, so all the flavors really gets into the sugar. Now it's ready to use on your yogurt or in cakes. Enjoy! Let's paint! And these are the colors that we will be using. We are going to be using a blue ultramarine, a crimson red, some sap green, pale olive green, hooker's green, some powdered blue, and Payne's gray. And that's about it, I believe. And I am going to be using one of these canvases, Reeves. I start by blending equal parts of my ultramarine with the crimson red to get that really deep dark purple color that will be the basis for my lilacs. And to get the lighter purple that is so soft and just sheer joy, I mix 2/3 of powdered blue with 1/3 of crimson red. This makes that really luscious purple that really signifies lilacs, anyway to me. I start by making a background that will in the end kind of look like a bit of bokeh. You know that blur that you can see in some photographs? That's what I'm after. So for this I'm adding some greens to the canvas, and I really don't take that much of it. The only color that I add much of is the white, so I add the colors in a thin layer and then I add white and I smear out a bit of the color to the exterior surrounding parts, and this makes a lovely background that I'm after. And I do the same with a bit of purple, both of them actually. As always, I paint my edges because many times I don't feel that you need a frame for a painting. Also sometimes framing can be quite expensive, so I do want everyone to be able to enjoy my art, and this way you can hang the painting up just as it is. No need for framing, unless you want one of course. So I'm done with my background, and it might not look like much, and it doesn't have to either, because it's a background, and I'm going to add a lot of paint on top of this background, so not much of it will show, just the right amount. Making a background also helps you get rid of all of that white canvas. I start by making a stem of the lilac branches with a hook's green. I've added this to the broad part of the knife, and I'm holding the knife in a 45-degree angle when I'm applying the paint. You don't need to use a lot of pressure doing this, just a little bit. It might take you a few strokes to get the hang of it. If you don't get the paint exactly where you want it, you can always start over from the beginning, or you can work around it. Just do what you prefer to do. It's a bit like life. We work around our so-called flaws, and then the magic happens when we embrace our flaws and they start to become our beloved genuine and unique traits. Kind of amazing when you think about it. Then I add some leaves with a sap green and some pale olive green and white. I go in with the edge of the knife and I flatten it out when applying the paint, which gives it a softer look. I'm now starting with the flowers, and if you ever looked at the lilacs, the flowers are seated in sections, so that's what I'm trying to mimic here. I'm using the most outer edge of the knife, the flat part, and I'm kind of dotting the paint down in rows, slowly building up the whole flower. Here it's actually a good idea to have a bit more paint on each dotting, so to speak, because then you get that lovely part of the tiny flower that is bigger and one that is smaller, more narrow. The parts that get more paint, you get that lovely texture building. Then I add a lighter purple at the edges of the darker purple, which gives the flower that look of not being in full bloom yet, but about to, and also a bit more depth to the painting in whole, so it doesn't look that two-dimensional. And I add some more leaves to the painting with all my greens and a bit of Payne's Grey. Payne's Grey is a lovely color because it really works well with when you are painting flowers or landscapes where there's green. You need to darken things and you don't want that harsh black. Payne's Grey is perfect for this. And as always, it's time to sign the painting, but first it has to dry. And as always, all my painting goes up on Etsy, so if you like this painting and would like to be the proud owner of it, you can find it there. So in a couple of days I'll put this one up and you can buy it. And of course many more. That's all for today, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You hit that notification bell, like it if you liked it, or don't like it if you didn't like it. So I'll see you next time. Ciao bellas! And please let me know in the comments below what you would like me to paint next time. Do you have a flower for me?
reputation, but I figured it's not on me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The way you're making me shiver, your hands on myself, I keep pulling the trigger. Alright, this red finger for people like that.